coffee beans! How's it brewing? Welcome back for another BunnieDIY Spoopy Edition. Spoopy. I love Spoopy. I can't get over it. It doesn't matter how long it's been. I still love Spoopy. It cracks me up every time. Okay, enough of that. We are going to do something that I have been waiting all through August, all through September, because I was supposed to get it in September, but it got lost. Yay! I'm so excited! Now, this one is the Halloween one. It's this creepy cute box. And I knew that this would be perfect for my spoopy crafting month. But I was supposed to get it all the way back in September, and I only just now got it because it was lost. So this is going to be coming up way after all the other people have posted creepy cute stuff. But enough talking, because I am unboxing and doing the craft in this video, so I talk too much. Let's just go ahead and open it up. Oh my gosh, I love the color of this box. Oh look, I opened it in the right direction. I'm so excited! Creepy cute. Oh man, look at all the good stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and look through this booklet. It is so cute. I love pastels, and if I can admit it, there was like a very short time period in junior high, like 8th grade, where I thought I was goth. So I wore the darkest lipstick I owned, which was really my mom's, which was really brown, and fishnet shirts with something over top, and like charcoal eyeliner. That literally lasted maybe a month. So of course this aesthetic kind of called to me a little bit. And the fact that it's an hourglass is really freaking cool. So I knew I had to get it. Here is where you can find all of their social medias. I recommend their Facebook page if you haven't already joined and you're new to Sophie and Toffee. The community on there is so nice and so helpful. And then here are the creative contest winners for February, going all the way back to February. Wait, no. This is April, so that's a typo. Oops. This is actually February. I love this one. I remember this one because it looks like Polly Pocket, and I love Polly Pocket. So it looks like our regular items are a 3-minute hourglass, the hourglass holder, resin film, and then glow-in-the-dark UV resin, which I'm so excited for. One thing that I want to test is this resin film, because I saw on Sandra Arts what I would do, and even what the directions say to do, is to cut out the design you want and then you stick it in the resin. She put resin on the design, let it cure, and then peeled it off, and the design was on the resin. It was like magic. It was like resin magic. That should be her name, is Resin Magic. We got our 1-to-1 resin. Thank you. We have opaque pigment dye in lilac and pink. I'm so excited! We got our chain and hoops, and we also got glass heart crystals. Easy for me to say. It says use this to make danglings. What? What? Danglings. Now, our premium add-ons, which is the box that I got, are hair accessory molds, which I am so excited for, and shaker bits. They call them shaker inclusions. I love shaker bits. I like that term. We got our headbands, hair clips, and some shaker film. And what's nice, again, is they give us some directions for how to use the hourglass holder, how to use the glow-in-the-dark UV resin. I really, really like that it tells you these directions. And then here is a discount. This does expire at the end of the month, so if you want to use it, go ahead and use it. Okay. Let's get to our box. I'm so excited. Okay. Where are we? Where are we? Coffee. Coffee is what we need. I am caffeinated. So right on top is our premium item. So we got the shaker film. We got, oh wait, no, this is not premium. I'm sorry. This is the regular. I kind of see how Sandra Arts may have done that trick with the resin, because you can see this side is a lot more washed out, and this side is more vibrant. So I bet you this is the side it's printed on. So if you put the resin on the side that it's printed on and then peeled it off, I'm gonna test it because she is a resin witch. We got some headbands, and these are nice, and ooh, they're cloth. That's fancy schmancy. Here is our glow in the dark. I don't know what color this is. Extremely thick UV resin. The glow is more lasting, longer lasting. A paste, and then dome with clear resin. Oh, interesting. If you dilute it with UV resin, the glow may not be as long lasting. I'm not really sure what color this is, but it is from Miss Cheering, which is that nail company. Like, they've been sending us a lot of stuff from this same brand, and I really like their stuff. It works really well for resin arts. But you can kind of see, so I think it must go on that color, and then it glows that color, I would assume. So we'll have to test that out too. Let's see, we got our two gorgeous pigment colors. I love these colors so much. Look at how pretty and pastel they are. Okay. Oh, these are tiny bottles. Ugh. I feel like you'd have to use up both to make your holder. Oh well. I still really like this kind. It's the 1-to-1 AB crystal. The one with the white label. That's how I recognize it. Now, I'm going to do the hourglass before I do our molds. What is this? I forgot. It's our chain. It's so pretty. Oh, I like that they keep the little jump rings.
You've got mail.
In their own bag so they don't get tangled with this. And I really like this chain color. It's almost rose gold, which is my ring. So it's like kind of similar. Wow! Oh, forget this. I'm not putting this on the hourglass. I'm wearing this. This is gorgeous. Look at how pretty. If I could stop shaking. Couldn't be all that coffee I've been drinking. I love how the chain has these little extra rings. It makes it look so ornate, but delicate. Gosh dang, I love this box. It was worth the wait. Oh, here are our hair clips. Ooh, I bet this would stay in my hair really nice, actually. This has a really strong kind of grip. Okay, if this is not Sailor Moon, I don't know what is. Look at how pretty these hearts are. Oh my goodness. That absolutely reminds me of Sailor Moon. It reminds me of her brooch, or her earrings, or her engagement ring. Stop. I love these. I forgot they called them danglings. I forgot we were gonna do the hourglass. I got distracted. Okay, so one thing that is really, really cool about this hourglass is it is a 3-minute timer. It's not 1 minute, it's 3 minutes. And if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know that most epoxy resin, or the way that I use it, is you mix it and then stir for 3 to 5 minutes. So this way, without having to constantly check your phone, as soon as you start stirring, you can flip the hourglass. And so now it's counting down how long you stir your resin for. Also, most UV resin, I think, is going to cure in about 1 minute to 3 minutes, depending on what color or how thick, which is another really useful way to use this. Look! But it's very lightweight, which is very delicate. Oh, I could just sit and watch this. This is so mesmerizing. What I like also, I'm sorry, I keep going back to it, is it is flat on both sides, so you don't have to put it in the holder if you don't want to. It will sit perfectly fine on its own. Okay, mold time. I'm so excited. I have been so interested to see what this looks like. Everyone that I've seen videos keeps opening it and I cannot tell what they're looking at. So let me get a good look at it and then I'm going to show you. Oh, those are eyeballs. I thought they were snitches. I thought they were snitches. Well, I mean, obviously I knew they weren't snitches, but they look like snitches. Oh my gosh, these bats are so cute. All right, there is a skull. There is the bat. Here's a skull again. Upside down, it kind of looks like an alien. And there's some stars scattered around too. There's another bat. Look at his little spoopy face. Spoopy. And then I'll show you what I thought were snitches. I mean, if you know what a snitch is, picture a snitch. It looks just like a snitch. And not like snitches get stitches. Not that kind of snitch. A snitch from Harry Potter. I should clarify. Snitches get stitches. No. So yeah, it's a little circle and there's two wings coming on either side. So this is an eyeball and then wings. And then right here is a little hard to see, but in between each eyeball with wings is a little skull. So let me see. Oh my gosh, they're all so spoopy. I love it. Let me show you. So we got this spoopy ghost with a little skull that's on fire. It's a bow with an eyeball and like ooze or blood maybe. A candy with a little jack-o'-lantern and another spoopy ghost. And this is like striped and raised kind of stripes. And then we also got two little bat wings and one of them has a little skull with his head on fire. And then we got two, I thought they were cat ears, but I saw Aisha did this and she said they were devil horns, and I trust that woman. She knows what she's talking about. So how they fit on the headband or on the hair clips might have to be devil horns rather than cat ears, which is kind of a shame. Also, let it be said, it's not a pentagram, it's Sailor Moon's brooch. Hello, look, there. That's Sailor Moon's brooch. That's not a pentagram. And there's even a little heart in the inside. Got another snitch. We got like a jack-o'-lantern, I think, with wings. Got a little vampire. A bat. I love bats. We got a coffin with a heart. We got another little skull with a little fire coming out of his head. A little spoopy ghost. And another little jack-o'-lantern. Oh, everything is so cute. I love it so much. Guys, I don't know what to do with myself. I'm looking at all the awesome things I got, and I just have no idea what to make. More coffee. Okay guys, it's definitely time to start making stuff. From the minute I saw this sneak peek, I knew I was gonna make stuff featuring the headbands, the clips, and the little hair accessories to make something like this. Something that's kind of like an easy Halloween costume. And then as far as the hourglass goes, I know it's definitely something I'm gonna be using while I resin to count how long I've been mixing or how long something has been curing for. So I think it's okay that it looks like a little bit of a Halloween. That'll be my way of getting my goth phase out. Or back. Goth. Can you even imagine me goth? No. No. Ah! I have so many ideas. Okay. Let's get crafting. Alright, this is going to be a super long video as it is, so let's get right into it. Let's start with the hourglass bases. Initially, I really liked the idea of one side representing nighttime and one side representing daytime, but bats during the day? So there went that idea. But I still wanted each base to be different colors rather than identical. So the first base is more dark. I'll include a link to everything I use below, as well as a coupon code for Sophie and Toffee, just in case you'd like to try this for yourself. I colored the bats with the lilac pigment included in this box. Then I colored the little eyeballs, the ones with wings, white. Then colored the wings with a light blue. Then I colored the tiny skulls in between each winged eyeball with colored UV resin in royal blue. Then I mixed in a bunch of this dark reddish-brown glitter into UV resin and filled up the skulls. I can't remember which box this is from, but it is Sophie and Toffee. And finally, I colored in all the little stars in between the bats and skulls with this metallic gold UV gel from Sophie and Toffee. This came in the February box, I think. I actually don't really like working with this because it never cures completely. You have to put a thin layer of UV resin over top after it's demolded. But I really wanted to use it because it's such a gorgeous molten color. Now that I got all the little decorations done with UV resin, I can finally add in my epoxy resin. I'm using the 1-to-1 crystal epoxy resin from this month's Elves box. I'm not filling up the mold all the way, so I'm only mixing about 40 milliliters. And I stirred in this amazing silver glitter from Martha Stewart. I got this at Michael's. Martha, girl, your glitter is amazing! Then I slowly poured that in the bottom, poked around the edges a little to get the bubbles, and then filled up the rest. I left this to cure for about 12 hours. For a final touch, I added some dark purple UV resin for pupils to the eyeballs. And look at how gorgeous this is! I love that the glitter added to the darker theme I was going for without having to add any black pigment. Now let's work on the second base. This one is going to be the lighter variant. I followed all of the same steps as the first base, but I used the pastel pink from this month's box for the bats, this pink glitter for the skulls, white for the eyeballs and light teal for the wings, apple green colored UV resin for the tiny skulls, and yellow for the stars. Then I mixed up some 1-to-1 epoxy resin with this unicorn glitter from Target. This is by far my favorite glitter that I own, and I'm running out, so I need to buy more ASAP. I poured it into the bottom, poked all the bubbles out, and then filled it up. I let this cure for another 12 hours. It had a tiny bit of extra around the edge when I demolded it, but those cut off really easily with scissors. To finish this up, I added 1 drop of forest green alcohol ink to UV resin for the pupils on the eyeballs. I love this one too! I absolutely adore the contrast between the green, purple, and pink with that darker unicorn glitter behind it. Wow! This came out so good! I attached the hourglass to the 2 bases with some UV resin around the edge, and I'm done. I seriously love how this turned out! Plus, it doesn't take up a lot of desk space, so it's perfect for timing my resin when I'm working. Now it's time to start working on the hair accessories. I started with this bow mold that has an eyeball in the middle. I pressed in some of this red pigment from Sophie and Toffee, and then poured in a tiny bit of white UV resin on top. This red pigment is from the dragon-themed November Elves box from last year. I used a lot of these glow-in-the-dark powders for all of these crafts today. They're all from Sophie and Toffee and came in the Under the Sea April Elves box from this year. I love the before and after colors of this glow-in-the-dark pigment, so I added it to some UV resin. I really wanted the green to look toxic, so I added a drop of this alcohol pearl ink in Sublime. Then I carefully added it to the drip design in the mold. Then I mixed up some pastel pink and lilac from this month's box and added those to the bow. I made the front of the bow pink and the ribbon tails and back purple. After it's done, I added a tiny bit of white UV resin around the red iris to clean up the edges. And added a dark purple pupil. Then I added some eye shines using the Martha Stewart glitter. And finally, I domed the iris and pupil in UV resin, as well as the green ooze to make it more shiny and to give it a 3D and glossy look. And finally, I added a hair clip to the back with some E6000 glue. The best way to do this is to sand the back of the resin piece as well as the hair clip, so that the glue has something to latch onto. I love this bow! It totally reminds me of Carrie Pamu Pamu, and it glows so bright. It's a shame you can kinda see the glow-in-the-dark powder on the pink, but I don't really mind. Next, I moved on to the included shaker mold, this candy bow. I started by adding yellow crystal art UV gel to the jack-o'-lantern's face. This came in the Succulents Elves box from this year. I used the Miss Cheering glow-in-the-dark acrylic gel for the jack-o'-lantern, but this gel is like dummy thick. No. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist a good meme. Anyway, it's really hard to use, and once it's cured, it's still insanely sticky, so honestly, I hate using it. Then I added forest green colored UV resin for the pumpkin stem. Next, I added some dark purple UV resin to the eyes and mouth of the ghost. I mixed in some of this amazing blue to yellow glow-in-the-dark pigment with UV resin and added it to the ghost too. Now, like I said before, I love this unicorn glitter. So I mixed that into some UV resin and carefully poured it into the candy mold, avoiding the center. Then, before curing, I added a thin layer of the UV resin to the center of the mold, which helped to push the unicorn glitter back a bit. Then I flash cured that for a second before adding this adorable Happy Halloween sticker to the back. Then I gave it one more super thin coat of UV resin and cured it. Look at how nice this glows! I really wish the UV nail gel glowed better, but this glow-in-the-dark powder pigment for the win. Next, I mixed up some orange and yellow glow-in-the-dark powder and added it to the jack-o'-lantern and ghost shaker bits molds. I added those tiny bits to the candy shaker with some glow-in-the-dark embellishments from the December blowout box last year. Then I placed shaker film on top with some UV resin. And to finish, I added a hair clip to the back with some E6000 glue. I love it! I love the color so much. And of course the unicorn glitter makes anything gorgeous. Now I'm going to move on to these bat wings to attach to a headband. I started by adding some dark purple UV resin to the eyes of the flaming skull. That sounds like a band name. Then I mixed some of this purple to green powder with UV resin and added that to the skull. And the unicorn glitter is back! I mixed in the glitter with some UV resin and added that to the top of the wing structure in both molds. Then mixed up some black UV resin with a drop of black alcohol ink and poured that over the entire wing. Okay, seriously, every time I demold something, I yell, I love it. But can you blame me? This purple skull with the unicorn glitter is to die for! No pun intended. To finish, I lined up the wings onto the headband and attached them with E6000 glue. I was having a hard time deciding where to put the wings, because when they're high up, they don't really look like wings anymore, but too low and they look more like Swamp Thing rather than vampire or bat. But I finally decided on going slightly lower, so they should sit lower on my head. Look at that glow! I love it! Moving on to the cat ears, which I also added to a headband, I started by adding my hot pink pigment to UV resin and then put that inside the eyes of the flaming skull. Then I used this yellow glow-in-the-dark powder with UV resin and filled in the rest of the skull. Next, I mixed up some of my hot pink pigment with UV resin and poured that inside the cat ear. But there is a severe lack of glitter. So I mixed up some of Martha Stewart's silver glitter with UV resin and poured it into the ears to coat the sides, and the hot pink. And finally, I mixed up some UV resin with a couple of drops of the alcohol pearl ink in Intrigue and filled up the rest of the cat ear. Hey, guess what? I love it! But no, really. I've always adored pink and yellow together, and with this glitter, it looks amazing! It's so bright, it reminds me of the Southwest sunset. Then I finished by attaching them to the headband with some E6000 glue. I love these cat ears so much. They're a little small, but I think they'll add some adorable Halloween flair at work. Now to move on to the last design in this mold, the Spoopy Ghost. I used some more of the nail art gel for the little skulls on the ghost. Then I used the royal blue UV resin for the ghost's eyes and mouth. Next I used some white crystal art gel from Sophie and Toffee to fill in the little stripe on the witch's hat. Then to color the witch's hat, I mixed up some pastel pink and lilac from this month's box and poured them in to get a gradient effect. And now to fill in the rest of the ghost! I mixed some of Martha Stewart's silver glitter into UV resin and poured that into the mold. And finally, I wanted to add a nice background color to the ghost, so I mixed up some teal and white with UV resin and poured that gently onto the back. Once everything is cured, I can take it out and admire how freaking sparkly it is! Then, to touch up the details, I dipped a toothpick into teal and purple paint and touched up the face on the ghost and skulls respectively. I also wanted to use another shaker bit, so I squeezed a bit more of the nail gel into the ghost shape, then attached it to the witch's hat with UV resin, and gave it a little pink face. Also, the nail art gel doesn't cure completely, which Sophie and Toffee mentioned in the included booklet. So I added a thin layer of UV resin on top to keep it from being sticky. And finally, I turned it into a super spoopy brooch with a pin back and E6000 glue. I really adore the color combination on this one, especially with that blue background. But the glow-in-the-dark nail gel doesn't glow very much at all. I even tried sitting it directly under a flashlight, but the result was Okay, on to the absolutely final project. Remember the resin magic that I mentioned Sandra Arts does with these film pictures? Well, I'm going to use that trick and turn these into earrings. All I did was add a tiny drop of UV resin onto each picture that I wanted. Then once it's cured, it peels right off. Then I placed my blank earrings onto this cork to hold them in place, added a drop of resin, and then placed my little picture on top. Voila! So freaking easy. Plus, I made adorable dangly earrings. Danglings. With a ghost and a Ouija planchette by attaching them to eye pins. And with that, I am all done. This is such a long video, so if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I had an absolute blast this month sharing all of my spoopy crafts with you. I can't wait until next year to celebrate another Spoopy Edition. And I would talk more, but well, this happened. Oh, I got a little carried away. I was definitely feeling myself, and now I'm embarrassed. Anyway, if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Those likes really help my channel with YouTube's algorithm. And if you really enjoyed me dancing in all of my spoopy glory, then make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. Click the notification bell so you know as soon as I post. I upload every Monday at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks for watching, everyone! Happy Halloween! Share your costumes with me on Instagram by tagging me at BunnieDIY. Love you a latte!